out every month for as long as your mortgage, for 25 years, 30 years, 15 years, whatever you have for a mortgage, you pay the same amount every month. That's the method that is being recommended. The Finance Committee looked at this in consultation with the selectmen, and that was our assessment of the best way to go. The alternative to that is a level principle, where you would say take the $60 million and divide it by 25 years, and then divide that by 12, and you'd be paying that amount of principal all the time. The problem with that, as we saw it, is that that results in a higher front-end payment. That $700 would go to something over $800 in the early years, and then scale down to about $500, $400 near the end of the bonding period. Problem with that is that the folks who are paying the tax bill now and will be paying it for the next 10 years are paying at a higher rate than those for the last 15 years. And we didn't think that was equitable, that it made more sense that because the benefit of these buildings is going to accrue to the population and the children in future years, that it ought to have a more level cost to all of the folks who are going to benefit from the building. So the 25-year level payment is the one that I think will be recommended. I think most of us who have looked at it think that's the most equitable way. We also looked at just stretching it out over 30 years. And although that would bring the payment down somewhat, the 700 would go down to about 675 if I've done the extrapolation correctly. There's more interest cost involved because you're borrowing for a longer time. So the benefit of the lower payment was offset by the fact that we would incur significantly more interest costs, somewhere in the range of $7 to $9 million over the life of the project. So that's the financing of the project. I think it's a terrific project. I think we're going to get a great school out of it, and we'll be taking questions later.
Thank you. Thanks, Don. I don't know if you noticed, but nobody mentioned during the flyover that we're going to level all the houses and buildings for the radius of 5 miles and plant grass. So, again, after Don got through, I'm looking at the next slide, and this is a slide that shows various projects in various stages of development in our area. And as you can see, there's a number of projects, addition, renovation projects, repair projects, new construction, model school projects, and these are all in the pipeline. And the MSBA is funding these projects, okay? So again, Neighbors in Wilmington, I believe, just approved a new high school. Concord Carlisle just approved a new high school. And interestingly enough, for about the same amounts, very close to the same amounts that we're asking for. Wilmington is just a high school. Concord Carlisle, I believe, just a high school as well. I think Tewksbury has a project in the pipeline. So this is just an example of the funding that the MSBA has. And there are a lot of other districts that are in line behind us looking for funding to have projects completed in their communities. I want to go on to the next slide, which is the no-build option, or the no-build cost. If we do not go forward with this project, it does not mean that we do not address a multitude of needs at both schools. The project, as you've heard several times now, once from myself and once from Don, is going to be $107.8 million. The cost to North Reading, to the taxpayer, is going to be between $58 and $60 million. But if we do not go forward with the project, we estimate, and we've done some homework on this, that it will cost us approximately $49 million in the near future to make necessary repairs and improvements to the middle school and the high school. Those improvements include accessibility improvements to both the middle school and the high school, a wastewater treatment plant, which will absolutely have to be built to service both of the buildings, building code and fire safety improvements that are going to have to be addressed, mechanical system improvements at both schools, including not only improvements, but replacing HVAC, electrical, and fire protection. So there's a big cost in not doing anything, and that cost, again, is about $49 million. This cost does not even address our space needs. It does not address our educational program deficiencies that you heard about from the superintendent. We have 18 modular classrooms at the middle school and the high school, 18 classrooms. We have a modular cafeteria here at the high school, and that cost does not even include the replacement of those facilities over the next 5 to 10 years. The difference between going forward with this beautiful project that you've just seen and not going forward with it and spending money to make these improvements year by year, the difference is only $11 million. So again, I think that it just shows the benefit of having this partnership with the Mass School Building Authority and being eligible to receive $47 to $49 million towards this project. Next steps. When the MSBA approves our building project next Wednesday, January 25th, we have to come to the town and we have to ask for approval of the project and funding for the project. The Board of Selectmen are entrusted with the responsibility for scheduling a special town meeting and a special election. The Secondary School Building Committee has worked very closely with the Board of Selectmen. Sean Delaney, the Vice Chairman, is a member of our board, and Bob Masseri has been in almost all of our meetings, the Chairman of the Board of Selectmen. And the Board of Selectmen, and correct me Bob if I'm wrong, are going to vote at their meeting on Monday to schedule a special town meeting on Monday, March 19th. At that special town meeting, we'll be asking the members to approve the project and to support the cost of the project. We need a 2/3 vote at that town meeting for approval. The selectmen also on Monday are going to schedule a special election. That's going to be scheduled for Saturday, March 25th. And at that time, the entire community will have an opportunity to come out and vote yes or no on this project. At the election, we need a simple majority in favor of the project for it to go forward. If we get approval at town meeting and we get approval at the special election, we will then enter into an agreement with the Mass School Building Authority for the purposes of funding. And that agreement's essentially a contract with them that they are going to comply with their commitment to us to fund the $47 to $49 million. We'll continue with our project design because as much as you've seen here tonight, there's still an awful lot of work to do as far as design work. And then in June of this year, we'll begin construction. The first phase of the project will be the construction of the new high school with the core facilities. That will be completed by August of 2014 in time for the start of school in September of 2014 for the high school population to move out of this building. And sir, we're going to do questions right afterwards. I'll come right back to you, I promise. But what we're going to do is move the high school population from this building into the new high school. At the same time, we will move the middle school population down to the old high school, and in June of 2014, we will begin the complete renovation of the middle school. In August of 2015, prior to the start of the school year, we'll complete the renovations at the middle school. The middle school students who are at the old high school will move back to the newly renovated middle school, and we'll begin the demolition of the high school, the final landscaping, parking, and all of the other things that we need to do. And the entire project should be finished by November of 2015. I know there's probably questions that we want to encourage questions from the audience, comments from the audience, concerns from the audience, and we've put together a very esteemed panel to come up here. That's why we have these chairs up front here on the stage. To respond to your questions and your comments and your concerns. So I'd ask the panel to come up right now, and I'm going to introduce them. Sitting on the panel is State Representative Brad Jones. I'm sorry, Bob Masseri just corrected me. The special election, I believe, is Saturday, March, I think it's 24th, not the 25th, the 24th. But sitting on the panel is State Representative Brad Jones, and Brad has been instrumental in getting us into the MSBA and helping us get approved by the MSBA and get on their list. So we're very, very thankful to Brad. We have Bob Masseri on the panel. He's the chairman of the Board of Selectmen. Kathy Willis, our superintendent of schools. Don Kelleher, the vice chair of the Finance Committee. John Bernard, who you've heard from, our principal. Kathy O'Connell, who you've heard from. We have Michael Bitto, a student at North Reading High School, class of, I believe, 2013. We also have Brad Dorr, our architect from Dorr and Whittier, and our project manager, Chris Simla, and Allison Kane, a teacher here at the high school. So what I want to do is open this up to questions, comments, and you can either direct them at me, and I'll direct them to the panel, or if you want, you can direct a question directly to any member of the panel. So anybody, first question? Don't be shy. Steve?
Steve Jenkins.
Oh, Steve, do we have those portable mics that we can bring out there? I just want you to use the mic because they won't be able to hear this on the telecast, and this is being recorded. Mike, thank you. So just take the portable mic, identify yourself, and ask your question, and we'll make sure we get it answered.
Good evening, Steve Jenkins, Oakdale Road. I just have a question about the waste treatment plant. Not too much was said about it on the screen. Where is it going to be located? And what kind of environmental impact will it be to the neighborhood surrounding it?
Brad, do you want to take that, or Chris?
I can take it.
Okay.
The wastewater treatment plant right now is proposed to be located by where the current storage shed is, over by just to the north of the baseball field. And so we have done, some preliminary design on that in terms of schematic. And actually what would end up happening is, because there will be a wastewater treatment plant, a pre-treatment system, the effluent that will be coming out of that plant will be much cleaner than is currently going into the leaching fields that you have today.
Thanks, Steve. Yes, sir. Yeah. Just again, hold off on the mic, just so we can get it on the recording.
John Lava, I live on Mead Road. I got a couple questions. The wastewater treatment facility, I've been around the few, and sometimes the smell isn't too appetizing. Is there any concern in regard to that? I mean, we're going to have a state-of-the-art facility where we're not going to run into that problem?
I'm not a wastewater treatment plant engineer, but I can tell you that one of the key factors in terms of reducing odors associated with that is to make sure that there's always a constant flow that's going on. So what I do know is that there's a proposed flow equalization system that's being incorporated into this, so that it's always running. What ends up happening is that you don't get a continuous flow. Schools operate on and off, but there's I guess the way that the engineers are designing this is that there's an equalization tank to ensure that flow is always going, so that biological process that is always taking place is always ongoing, and that's like one of the ways that they go to reduce odors. It will be state of the art. Everything will be brand new, and I know that we have met with the town, okay, and some of their engineering consultants, so we will be working with them as well to ensure do the best job that we possibly can.
Two other questions. What safeguards are you going to have in place in terms of the cost of the project, in terms of overruns?
I'm going to let Chris Simler from PMA answer that.
Chris is our project manager. He's been on board with us for the entire design period.
Hello. What we have is various contingencies put into the budget right now. Since one of the contingencies, the CM, we're going to be hiring CM at risk management procurement method. So the CM will have a construction contingency to handle issues. There's also a construction contingency that the owner will control. That's where change orders would come from if needed. Then there's a third piece of owner's contingency. So I think it's about $4.6 million to about $6 million in contingencies that we hope not to use that are built in right now. They help with like escalation contingencies. We also have built in, because this project is going on for 4 years, so it's hard to predict the future. So all that's been accounted for, but you don't want to overdo it at the same time, so we try to find that balance by working with everybody in the right amounts.
Did you